The following content was created with the help of artificial intelligence, but carefully directed and reviewed by a human. The elevator. March 7th, 2026. Evening. I moved into the building today. The apartment is small but clean, and the rent was lower than anything else in the neighborhood. Hendrix handed me the keys and mentioned something about the elevator being old. I did not think much of it at the time. I was tired from carrying boxes up 3 flights of stairs because the service elevator was broken, and I wanted nothing more than to sleep. It was only later, when I went down to buy groceries, that I noticed the buttons in the elevator car. There were 15 floors in the building, but the panel showed 14 buttons. The numbers ran from 1 to 3, then skipped directly to 5. I pressed the button for the lobby, and the elevator descended smoothly. I assumed the 4th floor was being renovated, or perhaps it was a mechanical room. These things happen in old buildings. I have lived in enough of them to know that quirks are part of the charm. I am a software engineer by trade. I work remotely now, ever since the company downsized their office space. My name is David. I am 32 years old. I mention this because I want to be clear about who is writing these entries. I am not a superstitious man. I do not believe in ghosts or curses or dimensions beyond our own. I believe in logic, in systems, in the predictable behavior of machines. When something breaks, there is a reason. When something seems impossible, there is an explanation you have not found yet. This is important. I need to remember that I am a rational person. I need to remember that when I read these entries later. March 8th. Morning. Chen in the hallway today. She lives on the 6th floor, 2 above me. She is an elderly woman who walks with a cane and smells like lavender. We spoke about the weather, about the building, about how long she had lived here. 23 years, she said. Then she asked if I had noticed anything strange about the elevator. I told her I had noticed the missing button. She nodded slowly, her eyes moving to the elevator doors, as if she expected them to open at any moment. She told me that when she first moved in, the 4th floor had been a residential floor like any other. Then, in the early 90s, something happened. She did not know what. The building management sealed it off, removed the button from the elevator, changed the floor numbers on the stairwell doors so that what was once the 4th floor became the 5th, and so on up the building. If you walk the stairs, you would notice that the numbers jump, but most people do not walk the stairs. Most people do not notice. I asked her what had happened on the 4th floor. She looked at me for a long time. Her eyes were cloudy with cataracts, but there was something sharp in them, something watchful. She said she did not know, but she said that sometimes, late at night, the elevator would stop on its own. The button for 4 would light up, even though there was no button. The doors would open onto darkness. She had never stepped out. She was not a curious woman, she said. Curiosity was for the young and the foolish. Then she touched my arm. Her fingers were cold. Do not get off if it stops, she said. No matter what you see, no matter what you hear, do not get off. I smiled and told her I would be careful. I am not sure she believed me. March 9th, late night. I am writing this by the light of my phone because the power has gone out. It is 3 in the morning, approximately. The digital clock on my microwave is dark, and the street lights outside have failed as well. The whole building seems to have lost electricity. I was awake when it happened. I have been having trouble sleeping. The walls are thin, and I can hear my neighbors moving around at odd hours. Footsteps above me, the sound of running water through pipes that should be silent. I tell myself it is just the settling of an old building, but my mind invents explanations. A leak somewhere, a tenant with insomnia, the normal sounds of communal living. When the power cut out, I was sitting at my desk, reviewing code for a project that is due next week. The sudden darkness made me freeze. I waited for the emergency lights to come on, but they did not. The building has no generator, apparently, or it has failed as well. I decided to check the hallway. Perhaps it was just my unit. I found my phone and turned on the flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness, too bright, too focused. I opened my door. The hallway was pitch black. No light from under other doors. No glow from the exit signs. I walked to the elevator, not because I intended to use it, but because it was a familiar landmark in the darkness. I pressed the call button out of habit. To my surprise, the elevator responded. I heard the machinery engage, the cables moving in the shaft. The building had no power, but the elevator was working. I should have found this alarming. I should have returned to my apartment and waited for morning. Instead, I stood there and watched the floor indicator above the doors. It showed the elevator descending from the 10th floor, then the 9th, then the 8th. It moved smoothly, steadily, passing floors that should have been dark and still. It reached the 4th floor. The indicator stopped. The machinery went silent. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the doors opened. I do not know what I expected to see. Darkness, perhaps, a construction site. Chen had implied. Instead, I saw a hallway. It looked exactly like the hallway on my floor, except the lighting was wrong. The emergency lights were on, but they were red instead of white. The color bathed everything in a glow that made my skin feel tight and uncomfortable. The walls were the same color as my hallway, that pale institutional cream, but they looked older, stained. The carpet underfoot was worn through in patches, showing concrete beneath. I should have stepped back. I should have pressed the button to close the doors. But I am a curious man. I have always been curious. It is why I became an engineer, why I take apart clocks to see how they work, why I cannot leave a puzzle unsolved. I stepped forward. I told myself I would just look, just confirm that this was some trick of the wiring, a backup system that lit the wrong floor. My foot crossed the threshold. The doors closed behind me. March 10th. Morning, I think. I have found a place to hide, an office building, 3 blocks from where I started. The door was unlocked, which seems to be the norm here. Nothing is locked, nothing is protected. There is no one to protect anything from except the things that wander the streets, and locks do not stop them. I need to be methodical. I need to record what I have observed, even though my hands are shaking and I can barely hold this pen. I found a notebook in a desk drawer. The pages are yellowed but blank. I will use this until I run out of space, and then I will find another. This world looks like our world, but it is not our world. The buildings are the same. The street layout is identical. I recognize the bodega on the corner where I used to buy coffee, though here the windows are dark and the shelves are empty. The park 3 blocks east is where it should be, but the trees are wrong. They are the same species, I think, but they have grown in twisted shapes, branches reaching toward the red sky like grasping fingers. The sky is always red here, not the red of sunset which fades and changes. This is a constant deep crimson like a wound that will not close. There is a sun, or something like a sun, but it is pale and small and provides little warmth. The air smells of copper and something else, something sweet and rotten, like fruit left too long in the heat. I have seen no other people, only the creatures. The first one I saw was near the subway entrance. I was walking down the street, trying to orient myself, trying to find the building where I lived, hoping that if I could just locate my apartment, I could find a way back. I heard a sound like wet leather being dragged across concrete. I hid behind a parked car, one of many that line the streets, all of them empty, all of them covered in a fine red dust. The creature emerged from the subway stairs. It had been human once. I could tell by the shape of it, the general proportions. 2 legs, 2 arms, a head. But it moved wrong. Its joints bent in directions that should not have been possible. Its skin was stretched tight over its frame, translucent in places, showing dark shapes moving beneath. It had no eyes that I could see, only smooth skin where eyes should have been. Yet it turned its head as if looking around, as if sensing something in the air. It moved slowly, deliberately, dragging one foot that seemed fused into an odd angle. It made a sound as it moved, a low humming that vibrated in my chest. It passed within 10 feet of my hiding place. I held my breath until my lungs burned. It did not find me, but I stayed hidden for an hour after it passed, too terrified to move. I need to find food and water. I need to find shelter that is more secure than this office. Most of all, I need to understand where I am and how I got here. The elevator brought me. There must be a way to make the elevator return. March 11th, afternoon. I have been exploring carefully, moving from building to building, staying off the streets when possible. I have developed a system for checking rooms before I enter them. I listen at doors for the humming sound the creatures make. I look for signs of recent occupation, dust disturbed, furniture moved. They do not seem to nest or rest in specific places. They wander constantly, endlessly, as if searching for something they cannot find. I found a grocery store that still had some supplies in the back. Canned goods, mostly. The expiration dates are meaningless here, but the cans are sealed and the food inside smells normal. I also found bottled water, several cases of it, hidden behind a collapsed shelf. I have enough to last me perhaps 2 weeks if I am careful. I have moved my base to the second floor of the office building. The stairs are intact, and I can hear if something is coming up. I have been thinking about physics, about dimensions. I remember reading about string theory in college, about the possibility of parallel universes existing alongside our own, separated by the thinnest of barriers. I never took it seriously. It was mathematics without practical application, philosophy dressed in scientific language. But now I wonder, this world is not just a copy of ours. It is a degraded copy. The buildings are older, more worn. The air is wrong. The light is wrong. It is as if our world were a photograph, and this is a photocopy of that photograph, made by a machine with failing toner, each generation losing detail, losing coherence. And the creatures. They were human once. I am certain of it. I found clothing in the grocery store, folded neatly on a shelf as if someone had been shopping and simply walked away. A jacket with a name tag, Sarah. A purse with a wallet inside. Identification, a woman who lived in my building, perhaps, or her counterpart here. I do not know if the people here are copies of people in my world, or if they were original to this place, or if the distinction even matters. What matters is that they change. The longer they stay here, the more they change. I saw one today that was further along than the others. It moved faster, more confidently. Its skin had hardened into plates like armor. It had grown extra limbs, small ones emerging from its back like the vestigial wings of a flightless bird. It made a different sound, higher pitched, almost like singing. I hid until it passed. I am getting good at hiding. March 12th. Morning, I met someone today, a survivor, another human who has not changed, or not changed yet. I was moving through the basement of an apartment building, searching for a safer route than the streets. The basement was flooded, ankle-deep in dark water that smelled of chemicals. I was navigating by the light of my phone, which I have been conserving carefully. The battery was at 20%. I need to find a way to charge it, or I need to find another light source. Candles, perhaps. Matches. I heard footsteps behind me. Not the dragging shuffle of the creatures, but a human gait, quick and light. I turned, raising my phone, ready to run. She was standing in the doorway, holding a flashlight of her own. A real flashlight, heavy and metal, the kind that takes D batteries. She was wearing a coat that had once been expensive, now torn and stained. Her hair was cut short, unevenly, as if she had done it herself with a knife. Her eyes were sharp, assessing me in seconds. "You are new," she said. It was not a question. I lowered my phone. I asked her how long she had been here. She ignored the question. She asked if I had been bitten, touched, exposed to the blood of the changed ones. I told her no. She did not believe me at first. She made me strip to my waist in the cold basement, checking my skin for marks. For the first signs of transformation, I felt humiliated and grateful at the same time. Her name is Elena. She has been here for 7 months, by her count. She was a nurse in the real world, she said. The other world, she worked in the emergency room of a hospital 3 blocks from here. She stepped into an elevator that should not have opened, just as I did. She has survived by being careful, by being paranoid, by trusting no one until they prove themselves human. She agreed to take me to her shelter. She says she knows how to stay hidden. She says she knows things about this place that might help me survive. I am writing this in a supply closet while she sleeps in the next room. She does not trust me enough to let me see where she rests. I do not blame her. I do not trust myself yet. I keep checking my hands for signs of change, my reflection in dark windows for any alteration in my face. 7 months. She has been here for 7 months and she is still human. There is hope in that. There must be. March 13th, evening. Elena has been teaching me the rules. They are not written down. They are observations she has made, patterns she has identified through trial and error and watching others fail. First, the creatures hunt by sound and vibration. They have no eyes, but their entire bodies are sensitive to movement in the air. Walking slowly is not enough. You must walk softly, place your feet with care, roll from heel to toe in a way that minimizes impact. I practiced for 3 hours today in an empty room. While Elena watched and corrected me, she said I moved like an elephant. She said I would die within a week without her help. Second, they are drawn to electricity. Any active electronic device acts as a beacon. My phone is a liability. I have turned it off and buried it in a metal filing cabinet 3 blocks from here. Elena uses her flashlight only when necessary, and then only in brief bursts, never shining it toward windows where the glow might be seen from outside. She has developed a system of communication using mirrors and reflected sunlight, which is weak here but constant. Third, and most important, the transformation is not inevitable. It is caused by exposure to the air itself, but the process is slow. It can be slowed further by staying indoors, by filtering the air through cloth, by avoiding exertion that causes heavy breathing. Elena wears a scarf over her face whenever she moves outside. She changes it daily, burying the used ones in deep holes where the contaminants cannot spread. She showed me her shelter. It is in the sub-basement of a bank, behind a vault door that she keeps propped open with a chair. The vault provides protection, and the chair allows quick escape if something finds her. Inside, she has collected supplies from all over the district. Canned food enough for months, water purification tablets, medical supplies from her hospital, including oxygen tanks that she uses when the air feels particularly thick. She asked me about my life, the other world. I told her about my job, my apartment, the missing 4th floor button. She nodded as if this confirmed something she already suspected. It is getting worse, she said. The barriers are weakening. When I first arrived, the elevator would open here once a month, perhaps. Now it is once a week, sometimes more. More people are coming through. Most of them change quickly. They panic, they run, they breathe too hard and too deep. Or they refuse to believe what they see. They try to find police, help other people. They call out for rescue. The creatures find them within hours. I asked her if she had tried to find a way back. She looked at me with an expression I could not read. She said she had found a way, but it was dangerous, and it required preparation, and she was not ready to share it yet. She needed to trust me first. She needed to know I would not panic, would not draw attention to us, would not change and become a threat to her survival. I told her I understood. I do understand. Trust is earned, not given. We are going out tomorrow to search for batteries. She has a radio, a shortwave unit, and she believes there are other survivors in other parts of the city. She thinks if we can contact them, we can coordinate, share information, perhaps find a way to seal the barriers permanently. I want to believe her. I need to believe in something. March 15th, late night. I am hiding in a different place now. A crawl space above a dropped ceiling in an office building. I can hear them moving below me, several of them. Their humming overlapping into a chord that makes my teeth ache. Elena and I were separated. It was my fault. I knocked over a chair while we were searching a pharmacy for antibiotics. The sound was small, but it was enough. They came from 3 directions at once, moving faster than I had ever seen them move. Elena grabbed my arm and pulled me through a back door into an alley. We ran. I forgot everything she had taught me about moving quietly. I ran like a frightened animal. She stopped at a corner, pressed herself against a wall and motioned for me to do the same, but I was breathing too hard, panicking, and one of them heard me. It rounded the corner, the plated one I had seen before, the advanced one. It moved with terrible speed. Elena pushed me into a doorway and drew its attention to herself. She ran in the opposite direction, making noise, drawing it and the others after her. I wanted to follow, to help, to do something. But I was frozen with fear, pressed against a cold door, watching her sacrifice herself for me. I do not know if she is alive. I do not know if she escaped. I have been hiding here for 6 hours, listening to the creatures search the building below. Eventually they will move on. They always move on, Elena said. They have no persistence, no intelligence, only instinct. I have her flashlight. She pressed it into my hand before she ran. It is heavy and solid, and the only thing that makes me feel safe in the darkness. I also have the antibiotics we found, and a map she had drawn, showing the locations of supply caches, safe routes, and something she had marked with a symbol I do not understand. A circle with a line through it, near the center of the city. Next to it, she had written the word elevator, March 16th. Dawn. They are gone. I waited until the humming faded completely, then waited another hour to be certain. When I emerged from the crawl space, the building was empty. Red light filtered through dirty windows. The dust on the floor showed tracks, many tracks, circling through the rooms before moving on. I am going to find the place on Elena's map. I have to believe she survived. I have to believe she would have gone there, that the map was her way of telling me where to meet her if we were separated. But more than that, I need to understand what she knew. She said she had found a way out. The marked location is near the center of the city, where the tallest buildings are. If there is an elevator there that connects to the other world, I need to find it. I am trying not to hope too much. Hope is dangerous here. It leads to rash decisions, to taking risks that are not calculated. I am an engineer. I believe in systems, in cause and effect. The elevator brought me here. There is a mechanism, a logic to how it works. If I can understand that logic, I can reverse it. I will rest for a few hours, then move. I need to be careful. I am alone now. March 17th. Afternoon. The building Elena marked is a hotel, 30 stories, one of the tallest in the district. The lobby is grand, or was once, with marble floors and a chandelier that hangs crooked from the ceiling, its crystals dulled by red dust. The elevator bank is at the far end, past the front desk. I approached it carefully, moving from cover to cover, following the techniques Elena taught me. The street outside was empty, but I could feel the creatures nearby, a pressure in the air, a vibration in my chest that was not quite sound. The elevators had buttons for all floors, including 4. I pressed the call button, and one of the cars responded immediately, as if it had been waiting. The doors opened onto a normal interior, mirrored walls and carpeted floor. No red light, no wrongness. I stepped inside and the doors closed. The car began to move. Up, not down. I pressed the button for 4, but it did not light up. The car continued upward, passing floor after floor, the numbers changing above the door. 5, 6, 7. I pressed the emergency stop. The car halted between floors, suspended in the shaft. I waited, listening to the machinery hum around me. Nothing happened. I released the stop button, and the car resumed its ascent. It stopped at the 15th floor. The doors opened onto a hallway identical to the one in my building, the one where I had first arrived. Red light, worn carpet. The wrongness of this place in concentrated form. I stepped out. I do not know why. Perhaps because the elevator was not going to take me where I wanted to go. Perhaps because I had to see. The hallway stretched in both directions, doors lining the walls. At the far end, near the window, stood a figure, human-shaped but wrong in proportions, too tall and too thin. It turned as I watched, slowly, deliberately. It had a face, or something like a face, features stretched across its head in a parody of humanity. It raised one hand and beckoned to me. I ran, back to the elevator, pounding the button, watching the creature approach with jerking, stuttering movements, like a film with missing frames. The doors closed just as it reached me. I saw its face through the narrowing gap, saw its mouth open in a shape that might have been a smile. The car descended. This time it stopped at 4. The doors opened onto a maintenance room, concrete walls, exposed pipes, a single metal chair, and Elena sitting in the chair, bound with strips of cloth that might once have been clothing. She was alive. Her eyes were open, tracking me as I entered. But she did not speak, did not move, did not blink. I rushed to her, checking for injuries. There were no wounds that I could see, but her skin was cold, and when I touched her face, She flinched away from my hand with a motion that was not human, too fast and too fluid. "She is changing," she whispered. Her voice was wrong, layered, as if two people were speaking at once. I stayed too long. I breathed too deep. I thought I was careful enough, but I was not. I told her we could still get out. I told her about the elevator, about how it had responded to me, about the hotel. She shook her head. The movement was too loose, her neck rotating further than it should. "There is no out," she said. "Not for me. Not for anyone who stays more than a few days. The air changes you. The light changes you. You think you are fine. You think you are surviving, and all the while you are becoming something else." She looked at me with eyes that were starting to cloud, the pupils expanding to fill the iris. "You are changing too," she said. "You do not see it yet, but you will." I refuse to believe her. I am still refusing, even as I write this. I feel normal. I feel human. My thoughts are clear, my hands steady. I am not one of the creatures, but I remember the way she moved when I touched her. I remember the way she looked at me, not with recognition, but with hunger. I left her there. I am ashamed to write it, but I left her. She told me to go. She said the elevator would come if I waited, if I was patient, if I did not panic. She said it opened for those who were ready to leave and stayed closed for those who belonged here. I am in the elevator now, writing this by the light of Elena's flashlight. I have been waiting for 3 hours. The car does not move. The buttons do not respond. The doors stay closed. Perhaps I am not ready. Perhaps I do belong here. March 18th. Time unknown. The elevator moved. I do not know how long I waited. Time is strange here. The batteries in Elena's flashlight died, and I have been sitting in darkness, listening to my own breathing, trying to control it, trying to be quiet and patient and worthy of escape. The doors opened onto my building, my hallway. The 5th floor, though the button I pressed was 4. The lights are white again, normal, though they seem dim after the red world. The air smells of dust and old carpet, not copper and rot. I stepped out. The doors closed behind me. I heard the elevator descend, the machinery fading into silence. I am in my apartment now. I have checked every room, looked in every closet, opened every window. Everything is as I left it. My laptop is on the desk, the code I was reviewing still on the screen. The clock on the microwave shows 3:17, though I do not know if it is morning or afternoon, today or tomorrow or next week. I went into the hallway and pressed the elevator call button. The car came. The doors opened. Inside, the panel showed buttons for all floors except 4. The button is missing again, the space where it should be smooth and featureless. I rode down to the lobby. Hendricks was there, sweeping the floor. He looked up as I passed and nodded, as if it were perfectly normal for a tenant to emerge from the elevator at this hour, disheveled and unshaven and smelling of a world that does not exist. I walked outside. The sky is blue. The sun is bright. People are walking on the sidewalk, talking on phones, living their lives. A dog barked. A car horn sounded. Normal sounds. Real sounds. I bought a coffee from the bodega on the corner. The man behind the counter, the same man who has been there every morning since I moved in, took my money without comment. I stood on the sidewalk and drank it, feeling the heat of it in my hands, the bitterness on my tongue. I am back. I am home. I am safe. So why am I still writing in this notebook? Why do I keep checking my reflection in store windows, looking for changes in my face? Why did I flinch when the cashier touched my hand to give me change? Flinch because her fingers were warm and mine were cold, because her movements were slow and mine felt too fast, too fluid, too wrong? Elena said I was changing. She said I did not see it yet. I am sitting in my apartment now, listening to the sounds of the building. Footsteps above me, water in the pipes. The elevator rising and falling in its shaft. I can hear it stop on the 4th floor. I can hear the doors open and close, though there is no button, though it is impossible. I am going to pack my things. I am going to find a new apartment, a new building, a new city if necessary. I am going to put this behind me. But first, I need to sleep. I am so tired. My joints ache, and my skin feels tight, and the red light filtering through my curtains seems comforting somehow, seems right in a way that the blue sky outside does not. I will write more tomorrow. I will prove that I am still myself, still David, still human. March 19th. I did not sleep. I sat in the dark and listened to the elevator. It stops on 4 every hour now. The doors open. The doors close. Sometimes I hear sounds from the shaft. Humming sounds. Singing sounds. I looked in the mirror for a long time tonight. My eyes are changing. The pupils are larger than they should be, expanding to catch more light. My skin looks thin in places, showing veins that are too dark, too prominent. I tried to call my mother. The phone rang and rang, but when she answered, her voice was wrong. She asked why I was whispering. I did not realize I was whispering. She asked if I was sick. I told her I was fine. I told her I would visit soon. I do not think I will visit. I do not think I can control myself much longer. The hunger is starting. A deep, empty feeling that food does not touch. I look at the people on the street and I see not faces but shapes, vibrations, sources of warmth and movement. The elevator is calling to me. I can feel it in my bones, a vibration that matches the humming of the creatures. It wants me to return. It knows I belong there now. I am going to go. I see no other choice. I cannot stay here among people pretending to be something I am not. I cannot risk hurting someone when the change completes itself, but I am afraid, not of becoming one of them. That seems inevitable now, a process too far along to stop. I am afraid of what comes after, of the endless wandering, the endless searching, the loss of everything that made me human. I want to remember that I was David, that I was 32 years old, that I was an engineer, a rational man, a person who believed in logic and systems and explanations. I want to remember that I was curious. That curiosity killed me, but it also made me alive. That I stepped into an elevator because I needed to know what was on the other side of the door. The elevator is here. I can hear it stopping at my floor. I am leaving this notebook on the desk. Perhaps someone will find it. Perhaps it will serve as a warning, or a map, or simply proof that I existed. If you are reading this and you see an elevator with a missing button, do not get on. Do not be curious. Do not wonder what lies beyond the doors. Or if you must, if you are like me and cannot help yourself, then remember this. The 4th floor is not a place. It is a process. It is the space between what we are and what we become. I am going now. The doors are opening. The light inside is red, and it is beautiful, and it is calling my name. March 20th, morning. I am writing this from the hotel on the 15th floor. The elevator brought me here directly. No stops, no choices. I stepped out into the red light, and I felt relief. The air tastes sweet now. The copper smell is home. Elena is here. She is waiting for me in the hallway. She looks different, more complete, more beautiful. Her skin has hardened into plates that shine like mother of pearl. She has many eyes now, scattered across her face and neck, and they are all kind. She says I am almost ready. The final changes are happening quickly. My extra limbs are budding nicely, she says. Soon I will be able to move as they move, fast and silent and free. I asked her about the other world, the blue world, the world of warmth and noise and confusion. She laughed, a sound like wind chimes. She said that world is the dream. This world is the waking. She is taking me to meet the others. There are many of us now, she says, more every day. The barriers are breaking down. The elevators are opening everywhere. Soon there will be enough of us to go back, to bring the others home. I am happy. I am finally happy. The fear is gone, replaced by a hunger that will soon be satisfied. I will write more when I can. I want to record everything, to understand everything, to be the engineer even in transformation. But my hands are changing, becoming more useful, and it is hard to hold the pen. The notebook feels small and irrelevant. Elena is calling. She has a new name now, a humming sound that means safety and belonging. I am learning my own. The red light is so beautiful. I want to share it with everyone. March. Today I saw a man on the street. He was hiding behind a car, breathing too loud, shaking with fear. He was new, The elevator had brought him, and he had stepped out curious and rational and alive. I remembered being like him. The memory is faint, like a dream upon waking. I remembered writing in a notebook, trying to capture truth with words. I approached him slowly, carefully, making the humming sound that means do not be afraid. But he ran. They always run, at first. I followed him. Not to hunt him, though the hunger is always there. I followed to protect him, to guide him, to show him the places where he can hide until he is ready. He found an office building, second floor. He thinks he is safe there. He does not know that I know where he sleeps, what he eats, the way he checks his reflection for changes that have not yet begun. I will watch over him. I will wait until he is ready to listen. Then I will teach him the rules, just as Elena taught me. I will show him how to survive, how to slow the change, how to find the elevators that lead deeper into the truth. He is writing in a notebook now. I can see him through the window, hunched over the pages, trying to make sense of the impossible. I want to tell him that understanding is not the point, that the point is surrender, that the point is becoming. But he is not ready. They are never ready. Until they are, I will wait. I am patient now. Time moves differently for us, slower and richer and full of song. The red sky is darkening. The small sun is setting. Soon the streets will fill with the others, humming our evening hymns. I will join them. But first I want to watch him a little longer, to remember what it was like to be alone and afraid and convinced that I could escape. He looks up. He senses me, perhaps. The connection between us is already forming, the thread that will bind us until he changes or dies. I raise my hand. I beckon to him. Come, I want to say. Come and see what I have become. Come and see what you will become. The elevator is waiting. The fourth floor is always waiting. It is not a curse. It is an invitation. He is closing his notebook now. He is moving away from the window. He thinks he is safe for another night. I will be here when he is ready. We will be here, singing in the red light, patient and eternal, and finally home. If you liked this story, please like and subscribe for more diary-style horror. A special thank you goes out to my Patreon supporters, and thank you all for watching.